And so now, as focusing on the MOU, the way the MOU is structured, or at a high level, is that it's between Ebony Tree and the Bruising Housing Authority with strategic partners with Coastal Georgia and Rebuild Glenn County. Our effort and our initiative focus primarily on using food systems to drive economic development, workforce development, and solve any issues that are around as it pertains to access to food. And so with this MOU, we've already established the Food and Wellness Council with the support of the strategic partners. And the whole idea is to allow us to be not just the technical support, but the strategic partner. We don't see ourselves as consultants. We see ourselves as coming along as being part of the Brunswick Housing Authority family to ensure the best interest of the residents of the housing are taken care of while we're pushing this project into reality. And one of the key features of the B Corp is that we are accountable for providing 2% of our net revenue back into programs that we start on the ground. And as we get into being able to drive revenue from some of the projects that we want to bring to the Housing Authority, and for example, the agripreneur and the sale and co-sale of value-added products, as we scale that out, that percentage that we allocate back to the housing project and back to the community scales accordingly. And then we also want to ensure that we reinvest everything that we can into the programs. So what we've done so far is set up an infrastructure so that all of the project requirements and project tasks and funding are being housed and stored in a centralized location so that we can better control how that data flows and information flows. We've also already done several walkthroughs down in the Brunswick area there, and we've scoped out the MOU. Now it's time for us to move into solidifying things so we can get into some planning and implementation. And so what we're looking for when we seek out board support as stakeholders is advocacy, championship, and bridge builders. Most importantly, the folks that are on the ground that really understand what the community needs and be an active part of the project so that we can serve the community the right way. And that's all we have. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
No problem. Any questions from the commissioners?
So what stage are we at right now?
We're in phase one. We're gathering governance. We're ensuring that we have all the required documents in our repository so that when we see opportunities to fund the various aspects of the project, we're able to fund them quickly without having to do a mad rush to secure data at the last minute.
So do we have a copy of the phases?
Yes, ma'am, they are in the MOU.
I would just make a comment, Mr. Chairman, that I totally support this effort, and we were introduced to Fred and Anna by Treese Hamilton, and they were recommended to us, I believe, by the aide for Reverend Warnock, I believe, Kristen, and so and they pretty much immediately came down and met with Treese and Chris. I wasn't able to attend that initial meeting, but I did speak to them on the phone, and we've been talking back and forth. They've been here another time and spent a day with us, and been very helpful and helping us to initiate. I asked to set up the Food and Wellness Council for us to begin to really launch a campaign around a concept that they brought to us, and it's not something that is really new to our community, but just the phrase of it: food is medicine. And I don't think we often think about that, but their work is demonstrating that they're working with a group of doctors, not just with Dr. Palmer and her organization, but also a group out of Augusta with a cancer research center there. And Fred, Anna, will you all talk a little bit about that work that you're doing there?
Yes, so during our proof of concept phase, our initial push was to ensure that extra produce was available in the communities that needed it the most. And in our collaboration with the Georgia Cancer Center, Dr. Malcolm Bevel, he revealed that there are 13 to 14 different stress and obesity related cancers that are prevalent in communities where there is low access to food. And because of that, we tailored our system to be deployable to address that need. And we're also working with Dr. Shonda Asdale. She is a urologist and a surgeon, and her background expertise is prostate cancer. And so we also focus on supporting that with not just the produce, but in both cases, we provide cooking workshops to teach people how to prepare plant-based meals that will help improve their medical and health conditions.
And also, from my understanding, that the doctors actually prescribe nutritional healthy eating just like they do regular drugs that we take. And that was one of the things that I thought was, for me, groundbreaking. I know my doctors, they encourage me, but to prescribe it is something different. It gives another type of emphasis for the patient to really try to adhere to it. And so and then Anna's cooking and showing families how to cook. I assume Fred can cook something, but I think Anna does the most of it. But it's culturally relevant for our families, because if you don't consider the culture of the family, then they won't do it and they won't eat it. And I think that is another piece that's very important for what we're doing. And would also like Dr. Palmer to talk a little bit more about her organization and how it impacts us in the work that she's doing, and mention Dr. Femi.
Sure, thank you, Commissioner Booker. Again, thanks everybody for inviting us this evening. Our nonprofit, as I said, we're 30 years old. We were founded by Dr. Femi Adesanya. He goes by Dr. Femi. He has been doing this work since 1992. He started as a professor at Hampton University in Virginia, and the goal has always been to help communities access, understand, and use data for their specific needs. So every project we work on is very community-centered. It's driven by community goals and objectives, and our role is just to be a independent partner to support teams on the ground, whether that's we conduct environmental community assessments to provide baseline data before projects get underway. We help communities translate that data into action in terms of project scoping designs. This would be particularly important for communities that have a legacy of industrial pollution and contamination. We need to make sure that soil is good quality. We also address any climate resiliency concerns that may be pertinent, particularly in Brunswick. And we also then can provide evaluation and ongoing data tracking, monitoring services so that you can track, measure your progress against your objectives and make real-time adjustments as needed to your strategies. and really just to help support you all with amplifying community voice and the impact of the initiatives on the ground. And having that data is so key to then being able to leverage additional funding to continue the work. We work throughout the Southeast and the Deep South. We have partnerships in Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, of course. We're based in Atlanta, but we do have staff that are based in Augusta as well. We are working on a similar initiative right now in New Orleans Lower Ninth Ward, which is another food insecurity initiative. So it's definitely a topic very dear to our hearts, and we firmly believe in the Ebony Tree Farms model, which really brings a holistic lens to not only addressing hunger and economic issues, but addresses underlying social determinants of health that are related to environmental contaminants and hazards. And yeah, Dr. Femi can't be here, but he is fully in support of the team and the initiative, and we really hope to be able to support the initiative going forwards. I'll put our website in the chat here so you can look us up at your leisure.
Yes, please visit it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just had a couple of follow-up questions. You can go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the importance of this, the data, and for us. And I attended Hampton in my freshman year, so I was happy to hear that was where Dr. Femi was a professor. I might have been there during that time that he taught, but I was a business major. And I think he's a chemistry professor. But the importance of this for us, we got 4 Superfund sites. Actually, we have 16 Superfund sites. That's what they call toxic waste sites. But we kind of shortened the meaning of the major ones. The major ones are on the national priorities list, and they're the worst of the worst. And we have 4 of them. That's the Hercules Terry Creek site, the LCP site, the site behind Nally Honda. It's the 009 Hercules site. And then we have the site out off of Perry Lane Road, where they used to make telephone poles, and they have arsenic and all of that stuff out there. Coming from somebody who knows that they have toxaphene in their blood, in their system, and the PCBs, this is how important this is. Many of us who lived here for a while, for many years, and we need to know about this and what we can do about it. And this is one of the reasons why it was so important for us to team up with Ebony Tree Farms and the other partners that have been brought to the table. I'll leave it at that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, go ahead.
So I just wanted to know, what is the targeted property?
So the way our model works is it's a distributed model where we have a centralized hub and satellites. So for the concept for this particular area, we're looking to have several satellites in and around the housing area so that community residents will be able to access and get training from those systems as they're providing food. Right now we have 2 primary locations that we've recommended, and we're also looking at a 3rd location.
What's those locations?
So I don't know the exact name of the housing area.
McIntyre Court, Risley is going to be the hub, and McIntyre Court and Hopkins Homes are the 2 initial satellites.
When you say satellites, how big are we talking?
a major, Commissioner Hayes. We're not talking about small. But we have the green space to do a major greenhouse, really, at both sites. And you can grow a lot of food in a much smaller space.
Have we got consensus from any of the residents that live in these communities?
Not yet. We're beginning a process. Like I said, the hub is at Risley. We've already been doing that for a few years. And so we're now just getting started. So we'll build consensus and bring them in. Now's the time. That's why Chris is bringing them on now to introduce this. I mean, we haven't moved to that area. We haven't moved to do anything in these areas. But in looking at all of the sites, when they came down for a site visit, these two areas were identified as the first ones that we should look at. But we're not doing anything without residents' input.
So has the property in Hopkins that you're looking at, is that gonna overlap the soccer field that was the last thing that came before us about that property?
That's a good question. We'll have to look at that. I didn't realize that was. I didn't recall that we were using that for soccer.
Yeah,
But, I mean,
Coastal, we allow Coastal to receive that building. They're not operating yet, but we voted for it.
That's
So,
that's McIntyre.
no,
Is McIntyre Court? Okay, okay,
yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not Hopkins.
okay.
And so have we secured any grants for this project?
As it exists right now, we're still working on securing grants, and that's one of the reasons why we're in the governance and data gathering phase, so we can get all the documents together, so when we have the right opportunities, we'll pursue those opportunities as they arise. We have 4 major grants on the horizon right now that we're collaborating with folks on the ground to pursue.
So is there any monetary financing that you're asking for from us, the Brunswick Housing Authority?
Not at this time.
Hypothetically, if it happens, where is this funding gonna come from?
It would come from NHC,
What's that? NHC?
National Housing Compliance, and one of the reasons why I really wanted them on today was because after what just occurred over the last 6 weeks, where benefits were no longer being provided and people were wondering where they were going to get food, and the churches were having to step up in the food banks, and everybody was worried that there was going to be a shortage. And it's like, well, that's the sign right there. It can happen to us once, but why would it happen to us again? Like when Dixie is closed, if they put an Aldi's there on the 17, it's not going to be the same size. Why can't we have our residents growing their own fruits and vegetables right here where we got the space? It doesn't make sense to us to be on TV saying we need these benefits. We can take care of ourselves. It's just about that whole self-sufficiency, and this seems to be the way to go. And so if something like that happens later this year or next year or sometime in 2027, we don't get caught the same way we were before. We should be able to grow and provide food right here in the community for everyone.
That's all I have.
Okay. You asked one of the questions I had, so basically the funding. Well, we will make sure that let's make sure that this PowerPoint is presented to our commissioners that's not here, as well as give us some time to discuss it. And I think I don't see the issue with it. I don't see any problem with it. I mean, we want to teach self-sufficiency and make sure that our residents have food. That's very important.
Oh,
I think the major issue would just be the funding. But go ahead, yeah.
How many residents would be needed to participate in something so massive? And if they do participate outside of community service hours, how can we make sure they get paid for their time?
And that's an excellent question. The way our model works is that we will be looking for representatives from these housing areas to be team captains, for lack of a better term, so we can do a trainer model. And everyone that we bring into the system, our goal is to provide them a stipend through an apprenticeship training program that allocates for specialization in greenhouse growing and in hydroponic technology.
Okay. Good question. Was that answered?
Yeah, I guess we'll get more information as the project moves along.
Yeah.
I think an email that they circulated, kind of identifying potential grants that are becoming available. I think one of them did have a December 31st deadline. And so if that's the case, that's probably something that we should try and regroup on next week and try and see what documentation we can afford you all so that that's something that can be applied for.
Okay. Well, I definitely know we have time to discuss it. Thank you for your time, Mr. Frederick and Ms. Anna. Thank you
Yes.
for all that you do. Also,
Thank you.
the other two young ladies, I don't want to mess up your name. What's the Dr. How you say it again, Doctor?
You can call me
Palmer.
Louise. It's Louise Palmer.
Okay, thank you, Miss Louise Palmer, and then the other young lady that was talking fast to us. But we thank you for your time as well. But thank you.
Marquita Rucker, yes.
But thank you. I'm sure you'll be hearing from us as well. Just want to be able to have a collaborative thought and discussion, and we'll make sure you get our support either way.
Well, thank you. I will leave you with this, though. What we do actually puts housing in the pathway to do exactly what it was meant to do, be the springboard to something greater. So that's what we do.
I believe that.
You guys have a blessed day, and then we are always open to respond to any follow-up questions that you might have.
Yes,
Absolutely. Well, thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time. Y'all have a blessed night as well.
you as well.
All right.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you. All right. We'll now have BHA policy update by Ms. Ori.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Evening. Okay, so, as you know, we have been, reviewing the employee handbook and updating the policy, the handbook, and amending the policy sections of the handbook. One of the things that we want to do, of course, is, kind of restructure the handbook. The handbook is written with policies following after each other in a, I wouldn't say not in an unorganized way, but there's no table of contents. There's an index, and the index doesn't match what the actual page number. So those are, we want to do some housekeeping things and clean those up. And then have separate pages for each policy instead of policies following behind each other on the same page. Each policy would have its own separate section or page. The policies I have for your consideration this evening include the hours of work and work schedule, attendance, vacation leave, sick leave, employee enrichment, employee grievance, vehicle use, and the spot award policy. So starting with the hours of work and the work schedule, this is in section 2.8 of the current handbook. And with this policy, what we've done is, they're mine apart, so I can kind of flip back and forth. It's added some language to address deviations in schedule, including abuse. So the policy has been updated or revised to include what the operating hours of the housing authority is. This is Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Hold on 1 minute. I'm sorry. Hold on.
I think Mr. Booker just texted that he had to step off for another meeting, so.
Oh, we got to stop there.
Okay,
He didn't say.
That was real professional.
Yeah.
well, that's
Well, all right. I'm sorry, Miss Ori. We can't get we bylaws we can't continue this
Absolutely.
meeting because we don't have a quorum.
and I think it would be better if
What-
all the commissioners.
Absolutely.
go
I,
over
I,
these issues.
yes. Hopefully we'll get all the commissioners here.
Yeah.
Because I definitely could have been somewhere tonight too.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my way to California. I could be at home right now, getting ready, right?
Right.
So-
Absolutely.
Just thought I'd say that. But I apologize. This meeting is adjourned.